Google Chrome thinks they are.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to... Oh, no, actually, muted myself, didn't mute you. I played myself. It's been a really long day. Anyway, welcome to another game in the Summer of Spooks series. Finally getting to start this. I'm very excited. I might say... How do I say it, Matthias? Kanatadark?
I don't know. Kanatadark, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Make it a hard T.
Okay. I don't know. You know how long it took me to learn to say obsolescence, and I still can't say it right half the time.
But I really want to say ta-da in the middle of it.
Kanatadark!
Kanatadark. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go around and introduce ourselves and just hand it over to Matthias so he can scare us, I guess. I'm Katie. I use she, her pronouns. I'll be playing Penny, who also uses she, her pronouns. What about you, Mal?
I'm Mal. I will be playing Jonah. We both use he, him pronouns.
Birdie?
Sorry, I'm trying to post things on Discord. I'm Birdie, aka the Birdie Source. I'm playing Garrett. I'm she, her, and Garrett is he, him. Yay.
Summer.
I'm Summer, she, her, and I'm playing Gulliver, he, him.
And last but not least, Matthias.
Hi, I'm Matthias. I use he, him pronouns. And if we go by the game, I'm the director. Which makes you all the actors, I guess. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, we're playing Cthulhu Dark, a game by Graham Walmsley. This book looks real thick, but that's because there's like 4 setting material in there. The actual game is only on 2 pages, basically. And this is a game, so Cthulhu Dark, and this specifically is going to be a game about 4 people in a remote lakeside resort town that are tied up in a mysterious tragedy. But as the investigation deepens, more than just the mystery unravels for them. We're playing kind of everyday kinds of people. We'll see as we get to today. We will get to learn these these characters in more depth. But at least we're going to start out on a very mundane level of everything. That kind of hits the tone that I was thinking of for this game as well. It's a contrast between the mundane and the surreal. It's the horror comes from threatening existential understandings of reality. So this is supposed to go into very personal stories, and we'll see what that looks like. That kind of explains the weird title, because I have no idea where this game is going to go. So that's why I chose something strange. What's basically set up right now is this is a lakeside town, a resort town that during the touristy month in the summer is full of people, and then they all leave, and it's very dreary for the rest of the year. We've got safety tools set up for this. So we have in the background lines and veils set up. A line is something that will never come up, be part of the fiction. A veil is something that can be part of the fiction, but won't be shown on screen. Like we fade to black on it. And for during play, we also are going to use the X and an O card. X card is if something comes up that you do not feel you want to have in the game, X card it. And this might already happen today. discuss that later. You can go like this, or you can say, I want to X card that, or type an X in our chat. And we roll back a bit, take the narrative in a different direction. The end card is, should we be approaching a sensitive topic, to let us know that, and so we can fade to black on it. And the O card is for those times when it gets really emotional, intense, but it's actually where we want to be and where we want to push forward on. And using an O like that, or typing an O in chat, you can also use that as a check-in with an O question mark. And yeah, really encourage heavy use of that. Part of not knowing where this game is going to go also means not knowing what kind of subject matter we might come across on. So we'll be open with that and can react to that as we need to. Yeah. So I think I would like to start with, so you all already kind of decided on what your character's name is, what their occupation is, and like a very rough concept. Is that correct?
Name and occupation alone.
That's fine. Maybe we'll go around once more to get those out again. Katie, do you want to tell us a little bit about Penny?
Yeah, sure. Penny is a sort of an ex. She's a writer. She had one sort of popular book that was a like a murder mystery crime novel kind of thing. But it was like about 10 years ago, and she hasn't been able to write anything else. She's making money by doing a random advice column in the newspaper, like an anonymous advice column, and is a little bit of an alcoholic. She lives in a cabin, probably on the lake, because this is like a lake thing, probably like a little bit in the forest on the lake, and is in heavy denial that she is an alcoholic, but she is one.
So that's Penny, the one-hit wonder writer success thus far, at least. Right. And Mal, who's Jonah?
So Jonah's in his mid to late 30s. He's a park ranger. He's either recently divorced or in the middle of the divorce. It's kind of murky. He's got a wife and 2 kids. They're not in the town. And currently he's living out of Ranger Station or his Jeep. He probably is also slightly alcoholic, honestly.
Great.
We already have a theme.
And Birdie, who's your character? And they do.
So my character is, I almost said Jonah, but it's actually Garrett. Garrett is in his late 20s, and he's actually a widower. He lost his wife and their unborn baby recently in a very bad car wreck. So as a result, he's also becoming a bit of a functional alcoholic. But he is a elementary school teacher, just a generalized school teacher. So he does not anything specific. He just dabbles in a little bit of everything. And he's having a really tough time working at the school right now, knowing that he could have had his own kid in 3rd grade or whatever in a few years. He is a sad boy. He's a sad boy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Summer, who are you playing?
Gulliver, who is not a sad boy, happy boy, Probably also a little bit of an alcoholic, but like a happy alcoholic where I'm drinking because I can, because it's fun, not I'm drinking to bury my sad feelings. And publicly, he is a professional wedding date. So essentially, you can hire him to go to your sister's wedding with you and not be alone and tragic. But low key, he's a bounty hunter. They're equally profitable. So he does them both 50-50, sometimes at the same time, most of the time at the same time. But yeah.
Nice. And I prepared a couple of questions for all of you, which we will go through, which will be very interesting, I think. But before that, a little bit like the structure for tonight. Like this first hour will be about us just answering these questions, like kind of getting to know where you're at, and especially how you all know each other, and who, like, what other acquaintances or friends or whatever you have in common. And the second hour that's at least how I'm planning it. We'll see how this goes. We'll be playing out a little bit of a prologue where we just get to, like, where you get to a little bit of a chance to feel out your characters. Monday is Canada Day, so we'll just be playing out like a barbecue scene or something like that, where you're all at, which is interesting because it sounds like almost all of you are, like, either your family isn't here or is no more at all, or so that's something we will need to solve. But that might also be the reason why you're all sitting alone after dark at the barbecue with a beer in hand while everyone else like tugging kids to bed and stuff. Yeah. So your occupation is actually important for the game mechanics. There are not many mechanics in this game, but whenever you try to do something, to investigate something, or even try to do something with like an unsure outcome, you will be collecting a dice pool. If it's something that's inside of human capacity, you get 1 die for it. If it's something that's specific to your occupation, you get a 2nd die. And specific in your occupation supposed to mean like actually specific. So if you'd be playing a doctor and you want to talk someone down, that's just good bedside manners. So wouldn't necessarily apply. You need to see how this works out with your characters, and kind of need to find a balance there. But yeah, you'll be welcome to argue for that die. And you can always roll a 3rd die, which is called your insight die. But we'll get to that when it actually becomes relevant. Yeah. So I have a set of questions for the 7 days in the week. Did you all get a chance to look them over?
Yes.
I didn't think deep about them, but I
didn't think at all about them, but I did read them.
Yeah.
So Monday is the set of questions. So I'm just going to read them out loud. We do not have to answer all of them in detail, but we'll see where you are. And parts of that you all already answered a little bit. Monday is what is your daily grind like? What do you work as? Are you having a career with ambitions? And think about 3 places outside of your home that you find yourself pausing, either for a break or with idle waiting time. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Mhm.
So, like I said, Garrett is a teacher. So his daily grind is pretty much he's, going to get up early. He's going to go to work. He's going to deal with the kids, and then he's going to go home. But he is, his heart's not in it right now, and that's the biggest problem he's facing, because he is having a lot of that regret and things like that. And he's missing his wife, and he's just thinking about what could have been. So he goes to school, but he's just kind of going through the motions. And he used to have ambitions, but I wouldn't say that he has them right now. He's in a very depressed state, sad boy. As far as the other three places, there's a local bar he hangs out at a lot, because he doesn't really like to be at home by himself. And so after school, he'll either go to the bar or he'll go to the graveyard. There's a nice little bench by their gravestone that he likes to sit on and read, or sometimes bring a bottle with him if it's a particularly bad day, and cry a little bit. And then he also goes to his mom's. He's kind of a mama's boy, so he does occasionally go over there to have dinner and stuff, and she's older, so he'll help take care of her and all that. So that's his three spots.
Nice.
I wrote answers for mine.
Awesome. Yeah.
So prepared, showing us up.
I was up at like 5:30 this morning, so nothing better to do.
Feel that.
Oh, that's awesome. What's the bar called, and what's your mom's name?
My mom's name is Becky, and the bar is called the Spiderweb. It's a seedy bar.
With a name like that, no way.
He figures he goes there and he figures he won't run into any of the like students' parents or anything like that. So that's why he hangs out at that place.
Yeah. Cool. There was a let's do it like this. Who of the other three of you has some kind of connection to anything that Birdie just described?
We all go to the bar.
We all go to that damn bar. You set yourself up for that one, Matthias.
Totally.
We're probably there at like weirdly different times of day, though, where we just kind of overlap by like 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Who's the proprietor of the bar? What's their name? Anyone can jump in.
Sophie?
Sophie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I assume her?
Yeah.
Okay. Sophie owns a spider web. Cool. Then we know what your... Then let's see your Monday answers. What's like the daily grind like for Gulliver? Who?
God, I want to know so bad.
So he doesn't work that much. Like wedding season is very specific time of year. So he's doing weddings like late summer, early spring, and fall, like into like August and September. And then he does bounty hunting like year round, but it's not super busy. Like I feel like he's an up and comer. So he gets jobs, like odd jobs here and there. So I would say like
so typical Monday morning is sleeping in.
Typical every day is sleeping in.
Yeah.
And then getting up. I think that he's pretty religious about exercise, which can't relate to that at all. But he like goes running every morning, like through the town. Probably around noon or 1, he swings by the bar. And then I would say he's there till probably like working crowd gets off of work. So he can kill a lot of time there. He's not necessarily drinking the whole time, but just kind of chills And then I feel like this bar doesn't serve food for some reason, but he probably has a couple of places that he can walk to on his way home, that he can stop by for food, because I don't think he cooks at all, ever, for any reason.
So it's like one location, his running route.
Yeah, I like to think that there's like a trail by water that he likes to run at, because even
It
when it's
goes
like blazing
past-
hot.
past the lake, or part of it goes past the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I would
And
say
then
that another
there's-
place would be like a diner that he stops at, like his most frequented diner. Which can y'all not be mad at me, specifically Katie, not be mad at me if I name it the Rusty Pelican?
No, because it's my favorite place in the world. So please
It's
name
so
it that.
good. Okay, I'm gonna name it after my favorite restaurant, the Rusty Pelican.
Rusty
Rusty peas.
Rusty P.
Would Gulliver, the question, we would recognize it as Gulliver? Like, if they changed the name tomorrow, would he notice?
What do you mean?
Like, does he care that that's what it's called? Or is this just the most convenient place near his apartment?
Yeah. I like to, so one of the questions was career with ambition. He doesn't want to be a bounty hunter forever. I think he wants to eventually like work for like the FBI. Like I think he wants to like get into law enforcement on like a really, really high level. I don't think he's taking any concrete steps towards that goal. It's like one of those distant things, because he likes where he's at. It's very convenient for him, and it's like an easy way to live.
Yeah.
So I think that he is pretty detail oriented. I don't think that something like that could slip by without him noticing. Whether he cares or not is a different story. I don't think he necessarily cares, but he would notice.
Yeah. Cool. So which of those things is a crossover for someone else?
I think the trail that Gulliver runs is right in front of my house. Because I live on the lake.
Oh, you're peeping him then. Whenever he goes running in the morning.
Sure.
Yeah. Nice. So what's Penny's daily grind like?
So I think she Penny is the one who drinks super late at the bar. So she is the one who is like getting up super late in the afternoon, because she's like hungover and can't recover. So she's probably like not waking up until I don't know, like around 11 or 12, and she tries to spend a couple of hours working on a new novel, which she's like written maybe a chapter and is stuck and doesn't know where else to go on it. So she will go into the office of like the local, probably small little newspaper in town, and pick up any letters, any posts, anything like that. But she mostly works from home. But she'll spend the rest of her day answering horrible, like, Dear Abby letters in the, that's what she does once a week. It like her little column goes out once a week.
Yeah. What's the newspaper called?
We don't have a name of the town, do we?
No.
Just call it the Chronicler.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely think she's the one who like spends the evenings at the bar. So she probably gets there around 6 and doesn't leave until around 11. And 11 or 12 sometimes, and she gets not messy drunk, but it's like very obvious that she's drunk. She does drink hard, enough that she has a hangover in the morning. And I think she spends some of her time at the library, the local library in town.
For like research or
Yeah, like if she's probably been checking out a lot of books and like reading on the history of the town and such, thinking it might inspire her for more things, for like another chapter.
Can I make another request?
Sure.
And that is, what's one fictional place in her book? Like, of the parts she's already written. And you can think about. You don't. You can answer in a moment if you want to think about it for a bit.
I think she has written about I think she's used the graveyard in town as an inspiration for a graveyard in her book.
Interesting.
Matthias, are we allowed to ask questions too?
Sure. Yeah, please. No. Definitely. Like, jump in whenever.
Well, I just we're doing shifts at the bar, right? So what if y'all were doing shifts on that bench for inspiration?
I like it. Occasionally we sit down next to each other.
Yeah.
We don't really talk though.
Is it awkward?
For Garrett, it is. If it happens, like, he won't stay there more than 15 or 20 minutes after she sits down, and then he leaves because he gets uncomfortable.
I genuinely don't think Penny even notices Garrett. Like, and not in a mean way. Like, it's not a she's better than him way. It's just like she's there. Her mind is so full of words she wants to write that she can't get out. She's just focused on where she is and trying to make some idea that, like, she really doesn't even notice there's another human being there until he gets up and leaves and she sees him walk off. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah.
Cool. We'll get more chances to connect you, Jonah, to everyone else as well. So because you're left for this question, I'm just gonna jump to you now. And what's your daily grind like?
He's currently working graveyard at the ranger station, so he's up all night.
So he's the morning shift at the bar. Okay, gotcha.
I love that you're passing each other by like ships in the night. Is that like the ranger station a little bit outside of town?
Yeah, I'd think so.
Towards the woods.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking it's probably the closest station to the town in the woods, but it's definitely far enough out that it's the like up in the air ranger station.
Yeah. And do you so you drive there every night and come back every morning?
Drives his baby sheep.
Nice. Do you like working those hours? Or like, does that come natural, or is that...
Yeah, did you elect it, or was it forced upon you?
I think he likes working those hours currently. I don't know that he always liked working those hours, but he's probably going to be up late anyway, so he might as well work.
And it's probably much more solitary than other shifts, I assume.
Yeah.
Cool. So besides the bar and the ranger station, is there another location you want to name? If you
near the bar, maybe across the street, is a convenience store. Depending on how large the town is, it's the only convenience store.
Yeah, it's the central large one at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gets off shift and goes to the bar. And then when he leaves the bar, he stops at the convenience store to buy cigarettes. And that's pretty much like a daily thing.
Yeah. Nice. Why don't we jump to the next set of questions and just stay with you for a moment. So Tuesday. How's your love life? Are you married? Do you have kids? How are things with your family? Who do you attend to?
Well, let me tell you something.
Boy, do I have a sad story for you.
His love life is non-existent currently. I'm going to say he's in the middle of the divorce, so technically he's still married. He's got 2 kids, a boy and a girl. They're not quite 2 years apart in age. Things aren't good with his family right now because his wife and the kids don't live in town anymore. And so he mostly just tends to himself as best he can.
So what's your still wife's name? And they don't live here. They live in the 90 minutes town that's neighboring or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonah's wife's name is Chloe.
Chloe. Okay. So it sounds like it wasn't like your decision or too much. It's a thing.
I'm thinking it was that whole thing of he wasn't around because he's busy working, and because he works he frequently works graveyard, and it makes it hard to like do stuff with family when you work graveyard like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably was just one of those slow buildups where he thought things were fine and she tried to talk to him and he just didn't get it.
Does he get it now or so?
I don't know.
We'll have to see. Yes, I like that. Let's find that out and play.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna write down conflicted. So, I mean, this is perfect. Who knows Chloe?
I would. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I feel like Penny would, as an old friend. Penny's lived here her whole life. But she hasn't lived like out on the lake her whole life. Her parents still live in like the city center. She was adopted when she was around 5. She had she had a mother who was like very, very young and just couldn't handle having a kid, so she was adopted. And had a really good upbringing, like upper middle class, great sort of upbringing. And she I would say, like, was Chloe, is she from here too, Mal, you would say?
Originally, yeah, I'd say she was.
Yeah, so I think that Chloe and Penny went to school together. Aren't close now, but definitely know each other. Like the kind of thing they'd pass each other in the grocery store, have a little talk up. Oh, me and John are getting a divorce. That kind of thing. But Penny doesn't really, not that there's no animosity there. I think she just doesn't speak to her parents anymore because she sort of doesn't want to have to deal with the how's your book coming questions. So it's a very tense relationship there.
You kind of neglected to tell us anything about your love life, though.
I went straight into the Chloe thing. I'm sorry.
That's cool.
Penny is not dating anyone. I think when she went to college, and I think she had like a very serious boyfriend, but when they graduated, it was long distance and it didn't work out. So she's in her early 30s now. She's about 32. I don't think she's been with anyone like in a relationship since she was in her late 20s. Like it's probably been about 4 or 5 years.
So no, so not been dating for a while now.
Yeah.
Also no other hookups.
Maybe like a one night stand here and there, but nothing serious. Yeah.
Okay.
Like she's got drunk enough at the bar that she's woke up in someone else's bed before. Definitely.
Yeah. It did sound like Garrett knows Chloe too, though. Is that you?
Well, I was going to say that Garrett might not know them very well, but one of the kids probably went to the school and was in his class. So he probably knew the kid really well, or one of the kids really well, and knew Jonah and Chloe in passing just from teachers' conferences and things like that. So he, his love life is also non-existent. He met his wife when they were in college, in early college, and then got married after, and they were married for about 4 years, and it's been about 6 months now since the accident, and ever since that, I mean, he's absolutely 100% kept to himself. He's not at all interested, obviously, in seeing anyone or anything like that. His mom keeps trying to tell him to get out there and like go get on a dating site or something like that because she wants her baby boy to be happy, but he absolutely is just still devastated, so he's not interested.
What's her name?
The wife?
Yeah.
Jessie.
And it's also on the, does it say Jessie on the gravestone?
On the gravestone it says Jessica Marie.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the obvious question. So, and you were married for 4 years. Okay.
Yeah, but they'd been together like 7 or something because he's like 27, and so they met when he was 20 or so, dated for a few years, and they got married.
So what do you think, Summer? Where does Gulliver... no. Let's just keep it like we were doing before. You're the last one here, so we do not need to have a connection. How is Gulliver's love life?
Well, I was going to say, though, unless Mal said no, maybe Gulliver and Chloe boned recently? Maybe?
I mean, wouldn't Jonah even know?
I mean, he might not know, so totally go for it.
Okay.
Make those knives now. Get them forward.
Listen, why would we wait for Matthias to hurt us when we can hurt ourselves? Yeah. He has never had a relationship, never, not ever, not once. His entire life. You can pay extra if you want to sleep with him for a wedding date.
Who last did that?
What?
Who last did that?
Oh, who last paid for it?
Yeah.
I think her name was Peyton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know last name. Maybe something classic. I don't actually know if he knows if people are telling him the truth about like their full names. He doesn't really care particularly. Like they're paying in cash. So maybe like Peyton Johnson. Super generic. He's like, that's believable. I buy that. So that was the most recent one. She lives just out of town. He doesn't sleep with people in town generally. I feel like Chloe was probably a first, but she moved out of town, right?
Yeah, so everything's...
Oh, so perfect. Kosher. It's all good.
Was that... You knew who Chloe was, though, right? Because you know Jonah, at least from passing. Like, we haven't...
I don't think he does.
Okay.
She wasn't wearing a ring, so...
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see a reason that they would have any crossing other than the bar. And if they do talk at the bar, it's probably bar talk. It's probably not family talk. I'm getting a divorce.
Yeah. Cool. Nice. Yeah, then let's stay with you for Wednesday. What was your last big expense? Has the car paid off yet? What vacation are you saving for? How are things on the money front in general? And how do you do with money?
I think he hates spending money. He hoards it. I don't think he was poor growing up by any means. Like, they were pretty well off, but for some reason he can always talk himself out of spending money on something that he wants.
He's super frugal.
Yeah. But the last thing I spent, like, dropped big bucks on. I think he bought a really, really, really nice tux, like several $1,000 tux, because it pays for itself, right? So that's the last thing that he spent a lot of money on, but he could, in a business sense, justify it. So he didn't feel bad about spending that money.
Interesting. Who has seen Gulliver in this tux? And whose wedding was it?
Let's say Jonah's seen Gulliver in the Tux because the wedding was held in city in the parkland where Jonah would have been working.
Ah, nice.
Would you just assume that the person he was with was like his girlfriend or wife or etc.?
Unless it was my wife, yeah.
I would never go with your wife to a wedding.
Not even if she paid you.
Okay, if she paid me, I would.
Nice.
You probably assume whoever you were with, you were at least dating.
Yeah. How are finances for Jonah? Park ranger.
He's living out of the ranger station in his car. Not good.
And it's
lawyers are expensive.
Yeah. So it's also something that's it's also not something that's really on your mind right now. It sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your lawyer?
Thomas Wraith.
Nice.
That is a good name.
I trust him with my finances.
Yeah. And who else has how do you say that? Has Thomas Wraith represented of any of still left?
I think he's Penny's lawyer, because you have to have a lawyer to when you are like doing your own taxes and handling your own finances, that kind of thing, So I think he's Penny's lawyer as well.
Yeah.
And he's probably like not the only lawyer in town, but the best well-known one, I would say.
The best, but also affordable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Are you still living off your first book mostly, or how's that going?
I think in the past month or so, the royalties have sort of dried up. And I'm mostly living on this, every other week, really, really pitiful paycheck from writing for the newspaper, which I'm not really used to. And the majority of my money goes toward like my bills, which I think I own my house was probably the biggest. My house on the lake was the biggest thing I bought. I bought it with my like final book advance. So I don't have a car. I don't think I really would need one. If I do, it's an older one. It's not she doesn't keep up with that kind of thing. But I think she's just now realizing she's sort of pissing her money away on alcohol. Like, it's become where she didn't have more than a couple of bucks to buy some milk, bread, and cheese, and that's the first time it's ever happened to her.
Okay, how's the money situation for Garrett?
So Garrett, he's always been pretty good with money. He's not really hurting for money. I mean, he's a teacher. He has a modest income, but he's not necessarily struggling or anything like that. His big thing right now is that he before the baby was born, they decided to buy a house and move in. So they had just purchased a house with a mortgage and everything like that. And now he's refuses to sell it. He won't do anything with it, but he's going to have to pay for that house with a single income, which he was not expecting to have to do. So he's got some social security payments and stuff like that are coming in, but it was kind of a bigger burden on him than he thought, especially with all the emotional stuff he's dealing with. But he's okay. He's got some money in the bank and he's paying the bills. He's not stressed about it.
Okay. Then we'll jump over to Thursday with you, I would say. What's a memory of your childhood that you feel illustrates what kind of person you would become? What about who you are now was nurture, and what was nature, do you think? And this can be completely subjective from what the character thinks. Yeah.
So his biggest memory from when he was a kid was he has a little brother, and the little brother is like 5 years younger than him. So by the time it was time for the kid to learn how to ride a bike and stuff like that, he had substantially more experience doing things like riding bikes, and he was always teaching his little brother and helping him out and getting the hang, teaching him how to get the hang of things. And there was a moment when he was teaching his little brother how to ride his bike that he finally figured it out and he took off on his own. And he remembers that like pure joy that his little brother had when he finally got it. And that was kind of the moment he knew he was going to be working with kids and he was going to be a teacher, because it just made him, he felt so fulfilled when he saw that look on his face. So in that moment, he knew that's what he wanted to be and that's who he was going to become. And his parents could kind of see it at the same time. Like, oh, wow, like he's really going to help people someday. So that was the moment. His parents were great. They were really, really good to him. So he's a good person. Like, there's nothing inherently evil about him, and a lot of that was nurture. But as these last 6 months have unfolded, the more pure natural emotional side of him has pushed its way to the surface, and he is depressed and he's sad and he is fighting it, but it's not really working. So some of that more base human instinct has started to take over, because his natural or the nurtured part of him, that goodness inside of him is like died a little bit.
It's hurting, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Is this a thing you might have told anyone else about, or maybe Sophie?
Yeah, I could definitely see him at the bar talking about this, and you know, he goes in there a lot, so he definitely has made friends with Sophie. And
Yeah.
I picture Sophie as like an older biker chick. You know what I mean? So she's
Yes.
got that gravelly voice, and she's got the tattoos and stuff. Right, has big spider web tattoo on her chest, and you know, she's got her Harley outside or whatever. And she's definitely the type that will sit there and just listen, and you know, try to make him, I don't know, she lets him talk, but she also tries to give him a kick in the ass every once in a while. So he's
Yeah.
definitely shared this with her, and I can imagine someone else overhearing it if they were sitting nearby.
Yeah, who caught like something of that? And this could be in a drunken haze. You don't even need to remember it, but that might have like set off at least an interaction between you two about like finding your calling, right? And you probably shared it with them or something. I don't know. Who knows? So, or maybe you didn't share it, but it reminded you of your memory of like a childhood memory that, like in hindsight, you say, "Oh, it's of course I had to become this, what I am now."
I was going to say, like, who overlaps with the schedule? Who would be their schedule?
So Gulliver comes in right before, and Penny comes in right before he leaves. So Gulliver's at the top end, and Penny's underneath him, schedule-wise, at the bar.
But this could be like sometimes like that's the regular schedule.
Sometimes
right?
bars do like karaoke specials.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh,
And, like,
we've all
who's
been
gonna pass that up?
karaoke before.
Share night.
Yes.
Maybe it was Jonah, and maybe they actually like shared why they became whatever they became. It's like the one thing Jonah did with him that wasn't related to the kids.
Yeah. I mean, like, why are you a park ranger, right?
I think he always liked the woods, and he wanted to be a cop, but he didn't. I mean, I know you have to do in real life. You have to do like you have to cop first before you get to do like DNR stuff. So maybe he went through the work to be a cop so that he could get like the ranger job or something, because he liked the aspect of being outside, but he still wanted to do law enforcement.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of perfect. And do you want to add something there still? I'm already thinking ahead a little bit, but
I was just trying to think of like a specific memory to tie to the idea.
Cops and robbers, and you took it way too seriously.
Maybe. I'm thinking maybe as a kid he was out in the forest and someone needed help, like they had gotten injured. And so he took charge of the situation, and the kid was okay in the end because of the work that Jonah did to.
And if this were a movie flashback, then we would just like see this from Jonah as a little kid shoulder height, never see who the actual park ranger is that or cop was that pads you on your shoulder. Yeah. Well, so who did you watch kind of think saying committing a crime is a little bit harsh, but maybe doing something.
Public intoxication could literally be any of us. So
That's true. But then would Jonah? Well, that's the second part of the question is, would Jonah call that out or not? I also don't know how this is in Canada, by the way. That's so true.
I don't know anything about Canada, so yeah, would you have called it out? Like if you were like if somebody from the bar was like getting ready to leave drunk?
I think maybe because he's got that Jeep, I think if someone tried to leave and it was obviously a bad idea, he'd be like, hey, get in my Jeep.
Okay, I like that. You brought someone actually home. Who would that have been? Like,
Can it please be Gulliver so Gulliver sees pictures of Jonah and Chloe? Please.
Yes, I will say that because I think it would be fair that he doesn't remember and he's like, I know her, but doesn't like say elaborate. So I totally think that that's possible, but I don't think he would remember that happening. If he was that drunk, because normally he walks home. So if he was like that drunk for somebody to have to drive him home, he would not remember it happening.
Wait, so to see pictures, Jonah would have had like a picture on his dash or something like that.
I don't know why. I can totally see Jonah's like the type that like clips it with like the garage door opener to the visor.
Yeah, the picture of the wife and the kids from like a barbecue or something clipped to the...
And it's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was going for.
Nice.
Jinx in chat. Yeah. That'll be me then. As far as a memory, I have a good one. For a memory from the childhood that illustrates what kind of person you would become. I don't think that he would, unless like he was telling this story to someone else and then they like pointed out to him that like that's what happened, like it connected the dots, he'd be like, huh. I think that when he was probably 8 or 9 years old, they were at a family function and he had like an aunt who got way too drunk. And she was like, Gulliver, all men want is sex and money. And like, that's what his life is now. So.
Who's the aunt? She's still around, right?
Oh, for sure she is. I think all of his family is pretty nearby. God, what's a really good aunt name?
Susan.
Yeah, Susan's really good. Aunt Susie.
Nice. Love that.
Yeah, so that happened. And then nurture versus nature. Wow. I personally feel like a lot of it is nature. Like it's just kind of, I feel like he never really felt connected to other people. Like you get to that point when you're like 13, 14 and people start dating and everyone has crushes and he didn't get it. He was like, what do you mean? Why is this such a hot topic? Because he has parents that are still together, like that have a good relationship. And so, yeah. A lot of it is his personality.
Yeah, makes sense. That's what it sounds like. Penny. So.
Yeah, I think a memory that really sticks out to her, and I don't think she connects it to anything now, but it's a memory that like her mom claims that she possibly can't have because she was so young. She remembers she's never seen her real mother. She hasn't seen her mother since she was 5, like her real mother since she was 5. She swears she remembers the way her birth mother looked, the way she smelled, everything about her when she was handing her off to the CPS agent. Like her adopted mother, her mother, claims that's not possible, that she can't remember it, but Penny's always said her whole life that she just distinctly remembers everything about that moment. And I think like she doesn't tie it to anything in her life, but it's definitely tied into like the feeling of her, this like sort of feeling in the pit of her stomach of people leaving, of like abandonment. And I don't like for nature versus nurture. She had a very good upbringing. She had parents that cared about her and took care of her and that kind of thing. And so I don't think it was a nurture kind of thing that made her sort of have this distance to her and her relationships. It was more of that memory in the back of her head.
Okay. Looking at the time when we want to take a break here. Do we want to do Friday still?
Whatever you guys want to do, whatever you want to call, Matthias.
I'm fine to do Friday before break.
Yep.
Yep.
We'll save the weekend for last.
Yes. So Friday, Penny. What do you do when you're on your own and can relax? What's a perfect day of free time like that lets you fall into bed with a sigh of contentment? Is there a place in town that would play into such a day?
I think like the perfect day for Penny would be not having to worry about like a writing and a deadline and stuff. And I think just getting a book from the library that isn't some kind of research book, that's just clearly a book she wants to read for fun, and taking it out beside the lake on a really sunny day and just being in like a swimsuit beside the water reading and getting sun and not being drunk, actually being sober, and not being drunk or hungover. That's, yeah. And actually having a clear mind for one day is sort of a perfect day for her, but it doesn't happen a lot.
So who has like hung out with you like that at the lake, like before? I mean, there's someone obvious who comes running by, even if it's a couple of months ago that this happened, or a year ago that you even had such a nice day.
Yeah, it's been a very long time since she's not spent the whole day in a haze.
Yeah. Or someone who we could also go the other route where who would you have had a run in at the library? Like who gave you maybe, or who gave Penny a book recommendation? It could also be a connection.
Oh my God. Well, I wasn't. So I definitely think that like Gulliver could have seen her on his run, but also I was going to say as part of his perfect day was reading romance novels. So
did you ask for a recommendation? This is the other way around.
So when you're standing in the romance aisle, there's only so many excuses that you can potentially have for why you're standing there.
The fact that
And-
Gulliver wouldn't be proud and own that he's in the romance.
No. That's what I'm saying. He's not a bullshitter. So he only bullshits when he's pretending to be your date. Otherwise, he's pretty honest. He likes them because they're so ridiculous. The drama of them is just so over the top.
Says the professional wedding date. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, take it in.
So ideally, his perfect day would be going to get a new romance novel, probably reading for a few hours, like sitting on his porch, having a beer, and then going to watch Waterworld at the drive-in, and then going home and going to bed.
Why that movie?
That's just it. That's it for Gulliver.
It has to be Waterworld. Why not?
Nothing else works.
As part of his ideal day, okay? It's Waterworld or nothing.
Johnson loves spending all their free time watching Waterworld.
Gulliver really likes Kevin Costner. I can't help it.
The Postman. Right
Yeah.
right there on the list.
Yeah, I mean, I figure like they would give each other a novel recommendation.
Yeah, I can totally see her, like, she's like looking through the books and he just grabs one and like holds it out to her. Like, this one's good.
Yeah, okay.
Nice. So
Who sees Waterworld with me?
yeah. Oh,
Who also is a big
Right.
Kevin Costner fan?
Please let it be Jonah. Jonah loves some Kevin Costner, man.
What's your fave?
Is it Message in a Bottle? I hope it's Message in a Bottle.
Nah, he grew up watching Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, he likes Waterworld and Postman. We're in that like weird era of Costner, but his go-to for himself is always Dances.
Jonah seems like a Dances with Wolves man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he also would have been perfect age for being totally stricken by Robin Hood.
Oh yeah,
Thieves.
yep. Probably even like he thinks Dances is the better film now that he's an adult, but growing up he liked Robin Hood better.
Wait, what about Field of Dreams? Come on.
Literally the best one. Subjectively, that's the best one, but
Yeah.
out of character. But Dances with Wolves is, oh man, some spicy.
So like
content.
it's Field of Dreams when it's a family night, but Dances with Wolves, that was the Jonah Chloe night
that's
movie.
That's dad's night.
Yeah.
Dad's night out.
The kids are there, it's Field of Dreams.
Well, that's because also Dances is long, so that
It's
was
too long for kids.
nope. Mom and I are gonna watch this.
You go to bed now.
That's the kind of movie you turn on just so the kids will fall asleep. And then you stick them in
Yeah, I've had that done to me.
Nice. Okay. So what's your perfect day like? That
I think Jonah's perfect day is Jonah's perfect day is getting a few supplies from the convenience store, heading out to the forest, and having a little camp that isn't part of the ranger stuff. And he probably brings a couple of books. Maybe he brings a portable DVD player for some Dances with Wolves.
was he? He's been looking forward to actually doing that sometime in the future with his kids, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. That That leaves Garrett, right? What's your perfect day like?
So Garrett's such a sad boy. His perfect day would have been waking up on a Sunday and going out on the back deck with Jesse, and they would cuddle up on like this little lounger chair thing, and they'd share a blanket, and it was a light blanket because the spring and the fall and everything is really nice in this town. And they would both have a cup of coffee, and they each have their own book, and they'd be just reading away the morning and whatnot. So that was his perfect day, but obviously that's been ruined forever. So he is now generally the type of guy that on a quote good day will, like I said before, grab his book and then go down to the graveyard and read for a few hours next to the graves, because he feels like that's the closest that he can be to her. But still, it's not exactly perfect. It's just as close as he's gonna get these days. And I will say that since he is a teacher and he does read a lot and everything, I imagine a scenario where Penny and Gulliver were in the romance novel section of the library, and he's kind of walking by and kind of glances over and sees Gulliver and just kind of tilts his head and goes, huh, and then keeps walking to one of the other sections, like the sci-fi section or something like that. But he's definitely seen this interaction and noticed Gulliver hanging out in the romance section a lot.
It's weird seeing a guy in a leather jacket in the romance world.
Yeah.
Not as weird as you think.
So since you said he would go to the sci-fi section or something else, I have to ask a question then.
Okay.
You prefer Star Trek or Star Wars?
Oh, I'm gonna say he's a little bit weird and doesn't really mess with either of them.
Is he a
Garrett's
Battlestar
a
guy?
Dune guy.
Dune, Battlestar, something.
Yeah, he's Dune.
Babylon 5, that's a good one too.
That's definitely Dune. He's got like a weird obsession with it.
Yeah, nice. I love it. Yeah. Then before the weekend, we'll take a 5-minute break.
Yeah, everyone. We will be right back. We'll take a quick little break, get a drink and a stinky snack, and we'll be back. So give us a couple minutes. And we are back. Just hand it right back over to Matthias.
Yeah, and we're getting into Saturday. And this is Garrett's Saturday. What is your home like? We already heard a little bit about this, so this might go quick. What is your home like? What kind of house or apartment? Who is the neighbor? And what kind of chore can you really not stand, and what's so bad about it?
The house is small and cozy. Again, it's nothing too crazy, but his wife decorated it, and it's got that kind of like modern farmhouse vibe to it. It's very clear that a stylish lady did it, so he feels really out of place now, but he refuses to change anything. Like, won't touch her clothes, her toothbrush is still by the sink and all that, so it's almost like frozen in time. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and they just they put a ton of work into it, like manual labor into fixing the house up, because like I said, it wasn't anything super nice on a teacher's salary, but they got a fixer-upper and then put a lot of work into it. As far as chores, he just hates cleaning bathrooms. That's it. Like, so that's the only thing, is the bathroom's gotten a little grimy. And as far as who his neighbors are, I would say that he's got kind of a nosy older lady that lives in the house next to him. It's an older neighborhood to begin with, so they're kind of probably, they were going to be the youngest family in the neighborhood, but this lady next to him, she's the kind that will like show up with cookies, or a casserole or something like that, because she's afraid he's not taking care of himself now, so she'll show up every once in a while and be like, "Oh honey, I made you a casserole, make sure you're eating,"
But she definitely goes by Mrs. her last name, right?
Yeah, actually she's probably Miss Pearl.
Miss Pearl. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's an older single lady.
Her husband died
Okay.
but a while, like 20 years ago or something like that.
Mhm,
So she's been on her own for a long time, and she knows what it feels like to lose a significant other, as so she feels for him and kind of sees him as a son.
I have a question about Miss Pearl. Does she know Gulliver's Aunt Susie?
Ooh, I think she's probably a little bit older than Aunt Susie. But they were probably part of, like, I don't know, this they were both on a fundraising committee.
We could say that Aunt Susie was actually Great Aunt Susie, but we just call her Aunt Susie.
Okay.
Because she doesn't like to be called Great Aunt Susie.
Right. No, I'm down with that too. So maybe she is a little bit older.
She's like, I'm young. I'm drinking a mimosa with you kiddos.
Yeah, but you know what? Miss Pearl does not approve of Aunt Susie. And
why would you? Who does?
Who does approve of Aunt Susie?
Nice. Who knows then? Who knows Miss Pearl? Like, or has like has like semi-regular interactions with Miss Pearl?
I was going to say that I think that Miss Pearl is on like a community watch program with my neighbor.
Okay.
So the situation here is, because he goes out of town a lot for both his jobs, he didn't feel like he could justify owning an apartment or owning a house. So he pays rent when he's there. This is why I said you guys were going to hate me. His neighbor's name is Jackie Coyote.
Can she leave the game? Just leave.
They, them pronouns. And they own a house with a garage apartment. So Gulliver stays in the garage apartment.
Oh my God, is he Mike Seaver? Is this motherfucker Mike Seaver? living above the garage with his friend Boner.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yes.
No, it's like a small studio apartment in the full garage. It doesn't actually have like a carport. It's been like converted to a small like guest house essentially. And so they have his house and then what he calls the big house, which is Jackie's house. And so I think that Jackie and Miss Pearl would be on a community watch program. Like Jackie's totally the type of like 50 First Dates beat down with a bat.
Miss Pearl is definitely on a neighborhood watch committee because she is the kind that like watches everyone, knows everything that's happening in the neighborhood, always
Yes.
gossiping about little things or whatever.
Oh,
So
She's
all
like
in.
calling the cops if like something is off.
I feel like Jackie is right there too. Is like, did you hear this shit, Miss Pearl? Like, yeah. So Gulliver lives part-time in the garage apartment. But Jackie's really cool and only makes him pay rent when he's actually there. But his chore that he has to do that he hates, which is part of the deal, they're like, you can stay here if you mow the lawn. And it's a push mower and it's like 4 acres. It's like big. And I feel like Jackie and Gulliver really understand each other on the not spending money. And Jackie like absolutely should get a riding mower at this point, but refuses to because like that's a waste of money. We have a perfectly good push mower. And so
that much longer that he has to stay shirtless and sweaty in the yard.
Right, exactly. So Gulliver spends literally a full fucking day mowing this lawn like once a month. It's an event. He's wasted by the end.
Yeah. Wait a second. There was something else to that question, though, right?
What?
No. Yeah. No. That's perfect. Nice.
What you mean? What's so bad about mowing like 4 acres
No,
with a push mower?
no. Believe me, I know. That's like I've sworn not to move in where there's a yard anymore. Yeah, and I think we already have an impression of what your home is like, right? It's pretty Spartan.
Oh yeah, it's like because it's basically studio. Like the kitchen is like built into the living room / bedroom. Like he doesn't have a couch; he just has a bed, and probably doesn't have a TV. Probably has a bookcase with the romance novels that he felt were worth buying, and then every Costner film in existence probably is on there. Even though he doesn't have a TV, he goes into the big house to watch movies. That makes more sense. Like Jackie has to give them a key, and kitchen, and then a bathroom, and that's it. Very sparse.
Okay. Well, the obvious question here is who's been caught by the neighborhood watch doing something that they shouldn't, like,
or maybe even like a recent topic of gossip that me and Garrett both would have heard about.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if it's a recent topic of gossip, it's got to be the Jonah's divorce. And now that you have figured out that you were banging his wife, I mean, that's
No, I haven't because I was drunk.
Oh, you don't?
I don't know that.
Oh, okay. Well, I still feel like
also don't really know who Jonah is.
Our respective old ladies would have definitely like.
Oh, they totally gossiped about that.
Exactly.
Totally.
Even
like,
if we
there's no way you let that go.
Yeah, we're
okay.
I know that
here's some shit is that Jackie would have seen or would have heard from Gulliver. So that's probably entered the circuit of like, well, Chloe's moved on. Like she's started sleeping around or started seeing someone. Even though that's not the case. Like they're not together.
Jackie probably figured out that it was happening before Gulliver did because he didn't know that's who it was.
Yeah, he still doesn't know that's who it is.
Yes. And Miss Pearl definitely told Garrett, and Garrett did not care one bit, but he has to humor her and listen to all her little stories and gossipy bits and stuff like that. So he knows, but he doesn't care.
Regret every decision that led me to this point. That means we're doing a good job, right? That's how that works.
Yeah.
How does it feel being the talk of the town, huh?
And probably word is getting back to you at this point that like Chloe's name has entered it as maybe having moved on.
I mean, yeah. Did you do you have a neighbor who might have started mentioning or asking, or
Are you in the watch program?
yeah, do you have to be in the watch program as a park ranger?
No, they probably give that to one of the lower rung guys to deal with.
The intern.
Yeah. The ranger intern.
But what is your home like?
Well, it's really high up in the air or on wheels, depending on what day of the week it is. We'll go the ranger station for simplicity. Okay. It's very high up. There's a cot with a sleeping bag. There's one of those little electric lanterns. There's a bank of walkie-talkies. There's a military style footlocker to keep stuff in, where he's probably got food and water and whatnot.
Yep, I'm getting like Firewatch style.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, yeah. And
then
the chore that he hates the most is doing the dishes, and I think that's a thing he didn't realize really pissed his wife off, because he was the guy where he'd use a glass and set it down to be used later and never put it away the way he was supposed to. Mm-hmm. And that was one of those things she didn't like, and he never figured it out. Because in his mind, he was always, well, I'm going to use it again later. Why wash it if I'm going to use it in a half an hour, an hour?
God, I hate that me and Jonah are the same person.
And it's the worst than if you now do the dishes and crying and doing the dishes at the same time.
Yeah. Wash the dishes with your tears? Oh, bummer.
All right. Then I want to change the neighbor question to more like, who's another ranger, like a colleague, which kind of goes in the same direction, right? If we're going to go Firewatch style, then this is like, okay, so who do you call when you arrive there via the radio and stuff like that?
I think James Anderson is the guy I would call. He's not in the station I arrive at, but he's at one of the other stations.
Yeah.
And because they have the overlap, he's there midway through my shift.
Yeah.
And so when I arrive, I radio him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You really want to up the drama? Anderson's the one in the neighborhood watch program.
Yeah. Did we need more drama?
Yeah, we did. We're really dry on the drama. We need to.
Listen, I might have only watched Summer and Katie do stuff for the last 6 months, but there's always room for more drama.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I mean that in the complimentary way.
So they obviously haven't told you, right, about the most recent developments in the gossip circle?
I feel like as another male ranger, he probably just tries to ignore the gossip.
Okay, can I throw something in for other people? And if you hate it, you can hate it. But I feel like Jackie may have written into this advice column.
I was thinking that too. Yes, I was gonna say that.
What do you mean if we hate it? What do you mean if we hate it? We love it.
I
What
was
do you
thinking
mean
that,
if we
like,
hate it?
Jackie, they are a regular reader of this column. They fucking love this column because they're the kind of someone named that loves advice columns.
Their advice sign-off name is Coy Jack.
Oh, they like regularly write in. They love it. They pin their answers up on their like bulletin board. Yes, I love this.
But most recently, they've written in about this whole situation. Like, hey, I know about this thing that happened, and like my friend doesn't really know what's going on, and I have this other friend who knows this person and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And like everyone in town knows who Coy Jack is, and everyone knows exactly what they're talking about in this question, but like for some reason Gulliver is still oblivious.
Gulliver doesn't read the trash columns.
Excuse you, that is my way of life.
He's here for the weather, and that's it. Tell me what the weather's going to be like on Saturday, and we'll toss the rest. No, because obviously, like, he and Jackie share a newspaper, so Jackie takes all the parts that they want and gives the rest to Gulliver, the parts that they don't want. So, like, Gulliver doesn't even have.
And like by now, they probably know that Gulliver just wants like the local weather pages, or like they know what to give Gulliver.
They know that Gulliver doesn't give a shit about the advice column. So,
and Gulliver and Jonah are like the only two people in town that don't realize that Gulliver and Chloe were sleeping together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. I'm so glad we were on the same page there.
She was out of town. It doesn't make sense that she'd be married to somebody in town. It doesn't make any sense.
None whatsoever.
Okay. Nice. Well, that was your answer, basically, right, Penny? Or are there more details? About,
we need
like,
that chore.
What's the question? Oh, about my house and the chore?
How you live, yeah.
So Penny lives in a small, like, 1-bedroom, 1-bath, just cabin kind of thing. That would probably be the kind of place you'd go, like, if she didn't live there fully, she'd rent it out for, like, vacationers or something, but this is where she fully lives. She moved from an apartment in, like, the biggest city over. She moved here a couple years ago claiming she was going to write. She's never left. And it's, like, that kind of, not run down, she takes care of it, but it's, like, a very dated cabin, I think you could tell. She, like, had to get it updated so she could, have Wi-Fi and cable, that kind of thing. But her least favorite chore, she hates, in the fall, she hates raking all the leaves that fall around. She can't stand it. And she already knows that, like, this year she's not going to have the money to pay for a lawn service. So that's her least favorite thing.
Just ask her to come over.
Okay. Now we're going to shake this up a little bit, because you get to roll for the Sunday question, and I have a list. I'm putting this in chat. This is what you're going to have to enter into the Roll20 chat to make it roll. Wait a second. Who's rolling already?
Me. You told me what we're doing. I got your answer.
Awesome.
I'm on the ball.
Yes. Then we'll start with you. So
cool. I got a 65. I was 4 more numbers, and I would have just gone nice.
We can round up.
It's 2 questions, so it's question number 62 and question number 3. And remember the safety tool. So, like, feel free to X-card it. Then we just, like, roll again for another question. Or maybe we only use one of the 2 questions. We'll see how we feel about it. So 62 is
Are you gonna X card this before you tell me?
yes, because it's completely not applicable. Let's check out question number 3. And maybe we know this, but maybe there's another reason, and this goes a little bit further than the rest. Question number 3 is, why are you the black sheep of your family?
Oh God, thanks, brain.
If you want to think about it, we have other people who can roll, and we can see if this.
No, we're good. I said, oh God, thanks, brain, because my brain's like, here's a knife. Most of my family is city dwelling. They like the city, and they have had lots of negative run-ins with the law. That's why I'm the black sheep, because I'm technically the man.
I see.
You're the black sheep because you're the
Not a
sheep.
criminal.
Yeah.
You're the sheep that listens.
Do they do illegal things in front of you, or has that stopped?
They probably did growing up. That's probably stopped now. There's probably a lot of really awkward, we can't talk about certain things when Jonah comes around.
Do they even ask you to come around?
I was gonna say, do you even go around them a lot? Like, do you?
They probably don't ask him to come around, no.
Yeah, like, have you even, like, really let them meet your family? That kind of thing.
Were they at your wedding?
I'm gonna steal what Kat said in chat. He sees his family on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and yes, they were at the wedding because his wife wanted like the appropriate sides of the parties to be there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yikes.
Does anybody know this about your family? Of the others? This is more of a secret in this town.
I don't know that it's necessarily a secret, but if they live in like the next town over where it's maybe a bigger city, maybe just people don't know.
Yeah. Do you want to re-roll that 3? That 62, I mean?
Sure.
Or do you want to let someone else go?
Let's let other people go and see what else we get, and then I'll decide.
Yeah. Connection would be... Who wants to go next? Otherwise, might be Penny.
I will. I already have it written in the chat box, so.
Yep.
95 and 153.
$95. So 95, the question is, how often did you fail your final exams?
Never. Penny
Never.
Penny was literally the kind of person who would lock herself in the library for, like, in a private study room for days on end to make sure she passed her exams. Like, it would be, she would run herself ragged to make sure that she passed, whereas, like, when the exam time was over, she'd just crash and sleep for 3 days straight. Yeah. She did not have a social life in college. Like, looking back now, she doesn't know how she even kept a relationship. She doesn't know how she didn't have a social life.
Okay. So 153 is how have your skills at how have your skills helped you doing an exorcism before?
I feel like that question's not applicable.
Is that X carded?
Yeah, for the fact that she's never done an exorcism before.
I mean, okay.
Katie, this is a yes and environment.
Maybe she hasn't done an exorcism, but she's been into some occult shit like a Ouija board or something like that and had a weird experience.
I mean, it could be an exorcism, right? That's completely fine but you can also discard it if you think it's too silly for Penny.
I mean,
Katie, somebody wrote in about an exorcism, and you gave them advice on the exorcism.
I'm just going to say that we don't have to X card it, but like it wouldn't be applicable for her because she doesn't believe in the supernatural.
Well, that's good to know too.
Yeah, I think that way we can technically get an answer that still describes Penny in a way. She's a skeptic. She doesn't believe in that stuff at all. Like ghosts aren't real, demons, angels, shit's not real. She has no interest in that.
Yeah.
So that's still a way to answer it. Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, Birdie, you also managed to roll a 62. Which is still not applicable because
I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
But the 55, I can ask you probably. Let's see. Okay.
Okay.
How can you still look yourself in the mirror after what you've done to your mother?
Oh, that's a good question. Because he does, spend a lot of time with his mom and that's a really good question. So I think should I tell you what he did or just tell you how he looks at himself? Okay. So I think it's not as large scale as the question may indicate, but he made like what if his mom knew, she would be devastated. And that's that ever since his wife died and he's been so lonely and sad and upset, and Miss Pearl has been coming over to help him, and bringing him food and taking care of him, really treating him like a son, and she's been there, like she lost her husband and all this stuff. He's really started to see her as more of a mother than his own mother. And so he has developed this really, really close relationship with her, and he'll go to her rather than his own mother. And if she knew, she would be devastated. And I think that he knows that. And so he has a really tough time even admitting it to himself, and things, even though he still goes over to his mom's and hangs out with her and stuff like that, it's gotten this weird tenseness to it that his mom is starting to notice. And he doesn't know how to stop it, but he just feels like he's betrayed her. So he hates looking himself in the mirror after this. He feels like a real shithead.
Yeah, like when you visit Becky, it's like you put her on the face and everything works out. But
it's
if
just
you
not like it
have
used
a
to be.
cry on, you go over to the girls. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oof. Okay.
That's a big oof. A big oof.
Okay. You can think about if you want to re-roll that 62.
I want to re-roll it. Yeah, for sure.
Right away?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Okay, so I just do 1D.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. 170.
170. So that should be easy. Okay. What's the only thing that helps you when you get a migraine?
Ooh.
What
Migraine.
the hell?
So if I get a migraine, he goes into like a caffeine overload because he knows that caffeine helps headaches and migraines sometimes. So he will like drink 6 cups of coffee, have 2 monsters, drink a 5-hour energy, like whatever. And to the point where like his heart skips a couple beats and stuff. It's not healthy. Like it is not healthy at all. But I don't know, he thinks it'll fix it someday, even though it never really does. I don't know. So eventually he crashes and just sleeps for like a day and a half.
Nice. Okay. Who wants to roll?
Me.
Yeah, use something.
18 and 92. Mm.
So the question reads, how did you get by after you were last fired?
How
Which
did I
is
get
kind-
by after I was last fired?
Yeah, like what skills did you use to get by after you last?
I feel like that's where
That's why
this started.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I think at first it was the wedding date that was his go-to. I feel like it was through like a friend of a friend of a friend. They were like, this person, like my, fourth cousin, whatever, needs this date. It was kind of like maybe like a joke thing on Facebook. I don't know exactly how it got started, but he was like, if you pay for my room and board, like if you pay for me to go, I'll go. And that's kind of how it got started. As far as like what his job was before, I feel like he started this pretty early. Like he probably dropped out of college to do this because it was so lucrative. He's like, I don't need a degree anymore. I think he was doing some kind of manual labor. And they just like, you know what? I think it was when there was a certain point in the town history when they were expanding this like subdivision, and he worked on the construction crew for that subdivision, and he was laid off when they got to like the final few houses. They just cut down on the crew. And so he started doing this wedding date thing, and then maybe we won't get into how that led to bounty hunting, but
so 92 is for how long have you been driving illegally after they took your driver's license away?
Oh, since he was like 17. I think he has one, but it's not legal. So like he's not supposed to drive, but he hasn't gotten stopped yet.
I mean, you did say he usually walks home from the bar, right?
Yeah, he does. He doesn't have a car. He doesn't have a motorcycle. So
how did you lose it? Or did you never pass the test?
Yeah, he still has his permit license. He probably at the bar uses his passport to drink, because you can do that. And like she saw it for the first time and was like, oh, that's fine. Like I'm never gonna ask, because he's the guy that uses his passport to drink, right?
That's just so much work for a bartender. Yeah, you don't want to deal with that shit.
Yeah, you don't want to do it again. So yeah, got the passport, don't have a driver's license, have a driver's permit that expired probably when he turned like 18.
Yeah.
If not by the time he was 21.
Definitely by the time he was 21. Absolutely by the time he was 25.
Nice. Jonah, do you want to re-roll for another question?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
How did you lose your driver's license?
116.
Wait a second. No, I miscounted. Yeah. Why have you been planning to leave the country? You can also just X-card it if you don't like it. Doesn't need to be.
I mean, it's a fine question. I'm just like,
How can he hurt us the most and give you the most ammo is what he's trying to think of. That's what he's trying to do.
It could be like a dream scenario. Like
Yeah.
something that's not realistic, but something you would want to do.
He did
This is like-
actually just find out about Gulliver and Chloe, and he's like, fuck it, I'm gone.
No, because we don't know. Neither of us know.
No, but he might know. He could find out.
When you find out, you have to have an exit strategy.
He's like secretly planned Gulliver's murder in his head, and so he's just planned out how to escape the country. Once
He
it
knows
happens.
he knows all the secret spots in the forest. No one will ever find Gulliver's body.
Because literally anyone in this entire city would think Gulliver's unemployed. Every single person would think he's unemployed.
Let's say he's always wanted to go to Europe and he would, given the chance, move there permanently and be expatriated.
Maybe Chloe always wanted to go to Europe.
Chloe's a bitch. We don't care about what she wants.
There are two sides to every story. That's all I'm saying. He didn't do the dishes.
You're right. It sounds like there were a lot of things he just didn't notice. So
Yeah, that's, yep.
Oof.
I mean, when we first, I was like, oh God, Katie, I have a sad boy idea. And she was just like, tell me what it is. Tell me right now. But yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, he wants to go to Europe. And maybe it was originally Chloe's idea, but maybe he really thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, I like that. And we can explore that a little bit deeper and play potentially. Okay, I think we should go to another break. And when we come back, I'm going to roll a prologue into the actual hook for everything, and we get to play a little bit. I'm going to tell you before we go to break what we open up on, so you can think a little bit about how that's going to be. Because, yeah, let's just play Canada Day. It's a state holiday.
We can't say anything offensive about Canada. Kiana is in the chat.
But you've got 5 minutes to to inform yourself about what happens on Canada.
Kiana, hurry up! Give us a rundown.
But I think what happens is not just the spider web, but that's centrally where most of this will probably take place. Has like rolled out the barbecue in front of on the street, right? Nobody's going to be driving through the streets today. They're closed off in the middle of town. So already in the middle of the day, exactly, outdoor parties on the street. There's like a reason why most of you are there. And I think, Jonah, you've been given, like, it's a long weekend. It's on a Monday. So it's on a long weekend. You've been given your kids for this long weekend. They're there. So I think you probably, Chloe didn't drop them off. You went to pick them up in the town over. And they've all been excited. And yeah, because this is not inside of the bar, it's also not an issue. It's like people are celebrating outside, and there's barbecue in the air. Early afternoon when we start there, and except for Gulliver, I want everybody to kind of already be there. Oh no, yes, wait, I want just to get this straight, Jonah and Garrett, you're both already there when this starts off, and okay.
Yeah, so we'll be back in about 5 minutes. And we will start this off for the last hour of Cthulhu Dark. So give us a couple minutes.
She goes by Danny.
Okay, got it. And so I just like Garrett is very awkward, but he's like, yeah, how you that sounds rough. How you holding up?
You know, I suppose it could be worse. I mean, I'm trying to work things out. I don't know that she wants to, though.
Oh, it's Chloe, right? Chloe was her name.
Yeah.
Do you get to see him a lot?
At the moment, not really. Once a month, maybe, but that's more about my work schedule than like any fighting over the kids. But they're playing further over there with some of the other kids that they remember from town.
Oh yeah, I see that. I'm gonna go say hi to Danny. And he just walks away because he feels so he can't do this.
Jonah lets him walk away, and there's just this long drink from the can of beer, and he finally gets that cigarette lit, and he just takes a big drag off of it and stands there.
Yeah, and I think that's when we cut to when we cut over to inside Penny's home. And my question is, like, how hungover are you this early afternoon?
About what time would you say it is? Like 1-ish, 2-ish?
Yeah, it's about 1.
I think she's like she's probably only been awake for a couple of hours because it is, a holiday anyway.
Yeah.
So she didn't have to go into the office or anything. So she is like at the end stages of a hangover, where she like has that sort of persistent pain in her head, and bright light still hurts a little bit.
And the idea of, that like everybody's giving out, like on the streets, people are drinking, is probably kind of that would make the hangover go away very quickly.
I think she would definitely know like that Sophie's throwing something. So I think in her mind she's like, greasy food, hair of the dog, I'll at least go stop by.
Yeah. And I think when you're kind of like getting yourself ready to like face the outside, to cover the trek from here
Just
to
sunglasses
Sophie,
on, ready to go.
That'll be bad. Is when you notice that because you've got like this cabin. I'm imagining like you actually have a there's a slip in the door for mail, and no mail would have been delivered because it's a holiday. So
also she has a mailbox, so if it's like in the screen door or something, she'd probably think it was a little strange anyway.
Yeah, there's a letter there.
Yeah, she's like, opening the screen door and grabbing the letter, and I think letting the door slam back, and she's just like, oh, loud noise. And she'll open the letter.
Yeah, it's got no postage on it. And it looks kind of quickly scribbled together. It says, "Hey Penny, this is Chloe. I didn't know who to turn to, but could you meet me in town this afternoon? It's kind of urgent."
Mal's already done. Mal's done. He's leaving. Yeah.
And she names a street corner that's like right along the main street where the main celebrations like is being held.
Is she saying meet her in like the city or like in the town where we are?
In the town where you are.
Okay, she's gonna check her phone to see if Chloe left a message.
Nope.
Then does she recognize the street?
Yeah, it's the street corner is like right like it's probably in if you stand outside Sophie's or today sitting outside Sophie's, you would be able to see that street corner.
Yeah, then she I think she grabs her purse and tucks the letter in the purse, so she'll like have the street corner address just in case. And then she leaves her cabin and like walks up the trail to head toward the town.
Mm-hmm. Garrett, are you actually going and looking for Danny?
Yeah, absolutely. Because he definitely wants to get away and he doesn't know what else to do. And Sophie is busy. She's, chit-chatting with someone, like whoever's cooking the barbecue or something like that. She's over there talking to them about how much more they need and are they out of supplies and all this stuff. So literally only one that she knows here well is Danny. Or he knows is Danny. So he's going to walk over to Danny and just be like, "Hey, Danny, how's it going? How you been, kid?"
Yeah, and did we actually talk about last names?
Mm-mm.
No, but she'd be like, "Oh, Mister," and
I think that Garrett was probably the type of teacher that was like, "Call me Mr. Garrett, not by my last name."
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Garrett. She's obviously a little bit awkward too. Doesn't know what to say. And is like passing out maple syrup candy to her brother that she just bought.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want one too?
Oh, sure, I'd love one. Thank you, Danny. I heard that things had changed a little bit at home. Are you doing okay? Feeling all right?
Yeah, it's just mom and dad have to work stuff out. And you definitely get this. It's not the first time you've seen a kid put on a brave face.
Right. Right.
Context of their parents divorcing.
Yeah. So he says, I understand. It happens. It definitely happens. And I'm sorry you're having to deal with it, but I know you'll get through it. You've always been a very brave little girl and very strong. And I know that you're not at, coming to our school anymore, but if you ever are hanging out with your dad, and you see me, like, please come say hi. I definitely want to check in on you and see how you're doing. And I'll check in with your dad and see how you're doing pretty regularly too, because I know it's tough.
And here's where I want to cut over to Gulliver, because Gulliver, right? Yeah, festivities, but first you got to go for your run.
Oh yeah.
What do you look like when you leave? Like it's literally you leave. We see you coming out of your door in your running gear off.
Yeah, I mean, he normally wears, I think he has like these old, like ratty track t-shirts from high school that he still like holds on to, because the longer you own a t-shirt, the softer it gets, and it just gets better and better and better the longer you have it. So he has all these old high school and early college, when he was still there, t-shirts that he wears. Casual running shorts, nice running shoes is probably the only thing that he has on that he's spent decent money on. And obviously he has to come around from the back of the house because he's in the garage, like the carport to the back. And the thing that he does every single time, and it's so annoying, and I hate when people do it, but he definitely does it, is that shoe tap thing where he taps his toes twice each to like tap his foot down into the shoe before he starts running.
Yes.
So he comes out on the front porch, taps his feet, gets going.
Nice. Penny, like when you get there, like avoiding people, too many people here. You can definitely see at the street corner. Well, that's Chloe's kid, or two kids, and talking with Garrett, but there's no Chloe inside.
Yeah, she's got her like face covering frame, sunglasses on. She's already, I think, grabbed a beer that's probably like a little warm from like setting out, and she's going to whilst trying to avoid people, sort of start migrating toward where Chloe's note said.
Yeah, that's like at that corner is where Garrett and her two kids are standing.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, she's going to wait until maybe they leave that corner. She's just gonna like find the nearest place she can be under, like for some shade, because the warmth is sort of making her head hurt a little bit. And is just sort of watching like that corner.
Do you feel that you're being watched?
No,
Garrett,
she wouldn't think that.
while?
Oh, Garrett?
No, it's because you're watching.
Like,
Garrett is I feel like he's oblivious to most social cues in general. So he's not necessarily going to notice that she's watching him. He is just still feeling so awkward about the conversation he just had with Jonah. And now he's starting to feel super awkward about the conversation he's having with Danny, because he doesn't know how to make it better for this kid. He's just...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And Danny's is probably like, we should probably get back to Dad.
Okay, yeah. Okay, great. Go ahead. Yeah, your dad is definitely wondering what you're up to. So, all right. Well, it was really nice talking to you.
Yeah, and we see her like shepherding her little brother off with her, right?
Looking at Garrett like something wrong with that.
Yeah.
Mr. Garrett's acting weird, Dad. Yeah. So then he's just kind of standing there, and he is like, okay, I have to do something with my hands. So he goes to find another beer. Yes. Even though his is still half full. Like,
so Penny, Chloe's kids are leaving the street corner, but not with Chloe. She's nowhere in sight. Right? You would have like every reason to believe.
I've seen...
If her kids are here, she must be here.
I've seen Jonah, though, right? Like, Jonah was outside.
But you don't know that this weekend he has the kids.
You don't... I feel like I'd put it together. But I'd still be, like, looking for Chloe.
Oh.
Because Chloe would have told her that they were getting a divorce. But I feel like if I saw them run off, like, back to their dad, I would definitely be on high alert for Chloe, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's do this. This is an investigation role, right? We are trying to find Chloe.
All right.
So, we built the dice pool. this is definitely in the purview of something that a human could do. So that's 1 die.
I would like to argue that writing mystery novels means I can search very well.
I don't think.
I can investigate things, but yes, I write mystery novels. I wrote 1 successful mystery novel.
Yeah, no. If this was about like actual an interpretation of a poem or something like that, or looking something up in the library, maybe, but not like hanging around with a hangover while it's so sunny and the beer hasn't really kicked in yet. You could definitely take your insight die though, but you can still add that later too.
Yeah, I'm not going to use it.
But there's no real reason yet, I assume.
Yeah. What do I roll?
So you roll 1d6.
Okay.
And here's how this works. If you get a 1, you get the bare minimum of information. So there's no failing in this. Unless someone else interjects and says, hey, I've got an idea how this could actually fail and be interesting. And then they roll a die against you. And this doesn't have to be me. This can be anybody who has a great idea of how this could go wrong.
What if I have a trash fire idea?
Well, tell us what it is, because we definitely want to hear it, because we love setting trash on fire.
No, I don't currently have a trash fire idea. I'm just wondering how does trash fire ideas play into this?
We always want to hear it.
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
100%
I
of the
need
time.
it.
I needed that 100% clarification.
Yes.
Jonah plans to set a fire in the trash, is what he's saying.
Always,
Distraction.
always do that.
Literally and figuratively, always trash fire. Okay.
Okay, let's roll this
We're
d6.
clear.
A 4.
Yeah. So a 4 is on a 4 you get everything a competent investigator would discover. And we can collaborate on what this looks like, but I think you probably know this place well enough to maybe like find a place where you can actually overlook the street way better, right? And to actually see if anybody's here or not.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think and maybe you even have a friend here at the corner. Maybe.
Is Jackie Coyote there?
Yes, of course.
Of course they are.
I'm gonna, if I see Jackie, I'm gonna go over to them.
Yeah, and I think they're passing out the program for the day still, right? Like when the fireworks are going to be over the lake, where the best viewing places are for that, and there's probably like a little march through town that's still going to happen, and that kind of thing, and when the school band is going to be playing, that kind of stuff. And they are actually on the other side of the corner, so looks like yeah, and they're like handing out those leaflets and handing one to you and giving you happy Canada Day, right? And
yeah, she goes over to Jackie and is like sort of pushes herself in front of, like, if there was a couple people in line, just casually side steps, and just goes, Jackie, have you seen Chloe anywhere?
Chloe? Oh, you mean Jonas Chloe?
Yeah,
Oh,
Jonah's ex.
Not Jonas Chloe.
Technically still by law, but not by anything else.
Yeah, true. No. Why? Why would she be here?
She pulls out the letter.
this weekend?
She pulls out the letter to show Jackie. This was on my door.
Strange. Well, that's right here.
Yeah.
No, she's been here. I've been here for the past since 11 a.m.
You haven't seen her at all?
No, I can't say I have. Oh. Would you look at that? And she looks over, and we see Gulliver running fast in the background towards the lakeside.
So you haven't seen Chloe at all, then?
No, I haven't. Wouldn't it be strange if she were here on this day?
I don't know. Maybe her and Jonah worked something out.
I think they catch themselves saying, I would know that, but don't. Right? Gary, are you returning to the spider web, or are you drifting elsewhere?
So I think he's kind of shifted and headed back into the main crowd because that's where the beers are. And so he's gonna, go up to, I imagine there's some beer wells, you don't have to go to the main bar. They have some big beer wells set up so that you can just grab one from the little ice bucket and pay for it there with cash and stuff. So he's grabbed another beer, like I said, even though his is still half full. He went ahead and he's got 2 beers now, so he downs the half empty one because now he knows he looks awkward with 2 beers. And oh fuck, okay, so he gets rid of the other one, and he's gonna try to just randomly make conversation with the closest person, even though he's like, oh hey, happy Canada Day.
Yeah. I like that. And I think
Cheers.
Cheers. I like that as a small interstitial again, because then we cut to Gulliver running along the lakeside. And as you are, and you have we already have the background noise of people inside town. That's you're passing underneath some trees, so it's a little bit out of it's getting out of earshot. As you're running there, you can see down at the rocky part of beach, someone half lying on the beach. The waves of the lake lapping up around their waist. What do you do?
Does this person look dead?
This person is not moving and lying face down.
So, oh fuck. He doesn't bring a phone running. He just has a smartwatch to track his pulse kind of thing. But he would kind of slow his jog to see if they it's pretty clear that they're not okay. Yeah, he'll go down there. He definitely slows for a second and pauses because that's very strange, but I think he gets that definite sinking feeling because that's somebody laying face down on Canada Day next to the lake.
Today of all days.
This day, it's a little early to be passed out drunk half in the lake. Not impossible, but definitely not. Yeah. So he'll go down there pretty quickly. I'm going to roll something.
In a sec. I think we shortly cut over back to Jonah, and your kids rejoining you and munching on the maple syrup candy. We probably see the ashtray filled with like not just one cigarette since we last saw you, but a couple more. Is that correct?
I mean, this
Do
is
you
a
put it out when they
sweet
come
party.
back?
Would there be an ashtray?
You're sitting outside, like this, like a couple of chairs and tables put outside the spider web, because usually they don't serve food, right? But on this day they pull out the barbecue.
On this day, the most Canada of days to get on the bandwagon.
Yep.
I don't know. I imagine that if
and she's got like a couple of old biker friends who are doing the grilling and stuff, right?
I'd imagine that in addition to like the coolers where the cans are, there's probably at least one keg, which means Jonah might just be putting his cigarette butts in the whatever's at the bottom of the cup now.
Yeah.
And as soon as he notices the kids running over, he puts the cigarette out, like regardless of how much is left.
Yeah. We hear the crunching of the sneakers onto the pebbles of the beach. And Gulliver, you approach the body that's lying there, and this is also an investigation roll.
Okay.
So 1 die for being human, and this is a human task.
Yeah. Within my operational expertise, I mean, identifying targets.
People?
Yeah. Identifying people. It's definitely part of my job.
So is that part of your dating job or the bounty hunting job? These identifying targets.
The overlap will surprise you.
The overlap actually will surprise you because you have to be able to come up to somebody that you've never met before and act like you've known them for X amount of years. / identify somebody who has broken the law and needs to be brought to justice.
Mm-hmm.
So is that 2?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you...
A 1 and a 4.
A 1 and a 4. So only the highest die always counts.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, you can re-roll as many times as you want, but if you do, you need to include your insight die.
Okay.
So you could re-roll 3 dice here. But I think what happens is, because there's no need to be like invested in it yet that you want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think you approach and there's like immediately that feeling of familiarity there. And you're like, oh no, you know this person. And as you approach the woman that's lying there, you get these flashbacks of what she looked like when she was riding you, of just her face. And her ecstasy on you, as you approach, and probably just with 1 foot, with 1 sneaker, she doesn't respond. So you push her over and you uncover her face and you look into Chloe's face with her mouth open, with a direct match cut over to your flashback. Here's a question I will be asking a lot in this game at times. Does this creep you out? And with you, does this creep Gulliver out or Summer? Either one of you.
It definitely creeps out Gulliver. Me, I'm feeling frosty. I'm feeling good.
Okay. Then you need to. So anytime something does creep you out, you need to roll the insight die.
Okay. Me or Gulliver, either one of us.
Either one of you, yeah.
Okay.
And if it's higher than your current insight, you do something out of fear.
Okay.
But you don't keep it cool on a fictional level.
Yeah.
And your insight increases by 1.
Perfect. So it's at 1 right now. So odds are
Pretty high, unless you
Yeah.
roll a 1.
okay. A 2. Barely. So it increases to 2.
Yeah.
Okay. And I do something out of fear.
Yes.
Do I determine that or do you determine that?
You get to say what your fear looks like, feels like. It's completely up to you.
So this isn't the first time that he's seen a dead body, but it absolutely is the first time that he's seen one that he had any kind of I don't want to say emotional attachment to, but personal relationship with, an intimate relationship with. And I kind of think that his fear is more like shock-based fear, where rather than look for help, he turns around and keeps going on his jog. Where it's like, it's not like he's unwilling to accept what he's seen. Because it's easier to pretend it didn't happen, right?
Yes. Maybe this is something that will come to you later, because I want to honor that you rolled a 4. A 4 means what a competent investigator would find out.
Yeah.
And is that she didn't die at that spot.
Okay.
Just as information.
Did I see, even in that briefest of moments, was she like obviously shot or something like that?
No.
Not that I could make out.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, nice. So you go, you get back up there quickly to continue your run. What is the rest of you doing?
Penny would have made her way over to Jonah and the kids.
Jonah's he's doing that thing where he's listening to the kids and he's trying to sound interested in whatever they're talking about, but he just can't quite find the energy. So there's a lot of, oh yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, she just comes up and she's like, hey kids, hey guys, hey Jonah.
Oh, hey Penny, how's it going?
She just like pushes her sunglasses up on top of her head. I think you would know she's hungover by like the way she squints, and you're an adult, you know. She's just I'm fine. Hey, can I talk to you for a moment?
Yeah. He looks down at the kids and crouches a little, and he pulls out like $1 or $2. Why don't you guys go find I think the ice cream truck's down the block that way.
I'm muted. Danny's like looks confused for a moment, and but like this has been like a thing that's happened way too often in recent months, that they've been requested to go do something, which like, what? We just had candy. Why are we going to the okay? And she's like,
it's Canada Day. They can have candy and then ice cream and then maybe a hot dog. It's fine.
Yeah.
Also, if we're in the middle of the divorce, he's like, all right, we're gonna have lots of fun. You're gonna get candy and ice cream and
I'm
do
gonna
all
be
this.
the best parent.
Yep. I'm gonna be the fun dad.
Yeah.
Canada Day is now your Christmas number 2, kids. Buy everything you want.
When you turn 16, I'll buy you a Porsche. How am I gonna afford that? I don't know. But I've already...
We'll deal with that when I get there.
Do I have
Yeah.
a house? Absolutely not. Do you have a Porsche? Yes, ma'am.
And the little one is definitely overexcited about this, but I think Danny is kind of like she's gotten wiser and way wiser than she should be in the last couple of months. So yeah, she does.
I think there's a look in.
shuffle.
I think there's a look in Jonah's eyes when Danny kind of understands what he's trying to say, and there's this look of just please take your brother and go for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as they're like out of earshot, that smile that Penny was like holding to, be in good graces with those kids, like looks back at Jonah sort of seriously and is like, "Are you here with Chloe?"
What? No, she told me to come pick up the kids this weekend. I didn't even know it was supposed to be my weekend.
So you don't know where she is at all?
Last I saw her was out in the other city when I picked the kids up. She was mad I was running late.
She pulls out the letter to show to Jonah. This was on my door when I left.
He gives it a quick read. But that's right here.
And she's not here, so I didn't know if maybe she was with you and had gone somewhere, or you knew about this, or...
I had no idea. I haven't seen her other than, hours ago.
Jonah, that's not your wife's handwriting.
Oh. Is this... Okay. So he says all this and then he's like, wait, and he looks at the note again. Penny, this is not Chloe's handwriting.
All right. Then I guess someone was just playing a joke. I'm not sure for what purpose, but I mean, as long as she's not here, she's okay, then nothing to be worried about, right?
Yeah, maybe it was just a prank. I mean, everyone knew you guys were friends.
Maybe you should call her. I didn't get a message from her or anything besides this, but I mean, if it's not her, just I don't know why someone would ask me to meet Chloe of all people. We're friends, Jonah, but we're not friends.
He in one hand he holds out the note for her to take back, and in the other hand he's reaching for his cell phone.
Yeah, she puts the note back in her bag.
Let me ask a little leading question here. So, on one hand, Gulliver, you're continuing your run. You can definitely say if you want to snap out or change what you're doing, right? But the other question is, Garrett, is there any point where you're wandering down, or will it be someone we do not know yet who?
No, I think that definitely makes sense. Garrett has exhausted all of his connections at this event, and last year he had a lot of fun, but that was 6 months before everything went wrong, and he has not figured out how to people yet without his wife. She was the social butterfly. She was the one that got them into the conversations and fluttered around and all that stuff. So he has not figured out how to do this on his own. He's really just here out of habit, and having nothing better to do. He was thinking maybe he could snap out of it by meeting some new people and stuff, but it is not working. So he has drained himself already and has wandered away from the bar itself and started to head down to the water where it's peaceful and quiet and he doesn't have to pretend with anyone.
If if we could, I like to imagine that these things are happening simultaneously, where Garrett is going down to the water and Gulliver is on his return run passing by the spider web where he knows there's a payphone, or he can use Sophie's phone behind the bar. So I kind of like to imagine that he's going to the phone kind of still in a daze of what has happened, not really fully. He's like fully disconnected himself from what's happened down at the lake at the same time that Garrett's moving down to the water.
Yeah. Yeah, like I can imagine like that intercut, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can also imagine Gulliver like
his shoes are still wet.
Passing by Penny and Jonah, because you're still in a days. There's maybe not much of a opportunity for an exchange, but yeah, we see all that. What happens next?
He'll just go up to Sophie. If she's busy, he'll go behind the bar without asking.
There's enough business that he could just
for sure
pass the bar.
Yeah, and he just goes to the phone and dials 911.
And at the same time, it's Garrett. I imagine rather wistfully, you're leaning over the railing, looking out over the lake, and as you're looking to your right, further down, you see somebody lying there.
Yeah, and I'm kind of just going where the wind blows me right now because I don't know what to do with myself. So if I see something weird over there, I probably think it's just like some sort of trash or something like that. You know what I mean? I mean, let's all be honest about Clay. No, I'm just kidding. I just think it's like maybe something that could be picked up. And I think oh, okay, that's how I can keep myself busy. There's some junk over there that I can be, drag over to the dumpster or something like that. So that's all I'm saying is I'm just going to go clean up the ocean or the lake because I'm a good person and I don't know how else to keep myself busy.
And I think that's when we get this let's do this multiple frame shot where we see Gulliver dialing and calling the police from the landline. We just see, I don't think we focus on the body, we focus on Garrett's face that shows shock, and you pulling out your phone to call 911, and we'll probably see the two kids and Penny and Jonah in a separate one. I think that's where we'll end it for tonight. But there's one last thing I would like to do and try out.
That's how I feel.
And that's quickly writing down the questions we have. Not all the questions we have. The questions pertaining to the mystery. Who, what, how, why, something like that. And everyone name one question, and we'll just write it on our little corkboard here.
Okay, well, who killed Chloe is a pretty big question.
Yes.
How did she die?
Who wanted her dead in general?
Yeah, I was gonna say who are her enemies.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, who killed Chloe? How did she die?
There's a big old X right there.
Who was her enemy? Who were her enemies?
Where did she die? You said the body wasn't killed there, so where?
I have a question. What did they have to gain? What was gained from her death?
Yeah, I like that.
And does anyone in
Else
town know
know.
about it?
Yeah. Did they know prior to the event?
Mm-hmm.
While he's writing our questions down, guess who's going to jail? This guy. Because they're gonna
Because
think
it was
it's my fault.
always the husband.
Always,
Always
especially the ex-husband.
At least only everyone in town knows that.
Good one.
Kiana,
Good one,
Kiana.
Kiana.
Great question.
Who wrote the letter?
Oh yeah.
Who wrote
Yeah.
that letter, and why did they
Probably the
need
killer.
Penny down there? Like, what was the point of having Penny come to that party looking for Chloe?
Yeah, because like clearly, like, was that a window to kill her? Or, well, like, I don't understand. Yeah, like.
My theory is that somebody wrote it that knows about the murder that wanted her to be found faster so that people would be looking. So they knew about the murder. They feel a little bit of guilt. Hey, Jonah, I'm blaming your kids. I'm blaming your daughter. She's my suspect. She's my prime suspect.
You know what? I will say, Garrett got some weird vibes off Danny. So.
Yeah, Danny's acting a little fishy. She's that age.
I think I missed one question though. After who gained from her death, or who's gained from her death?
Oh,
Why would they? Who wrote the letter, and why would they have Penny come looking for Chloe? What was the point of that?
there was one in between who gained from her death and who wrote the letter, like those questions.
Mhm.
Who else knows about it?
Yeah, that's it. Who else knows?
Also, keep kicking us ideas, chat. You're all investigators too.
Yeah.
Yes.
How long has she been dead?
This helps.
Courtesy of Cleric.
Nice.
1 minute. Just a little too late.
And you kept
If only
running.
you had started that run. If only you'd started that run a minute sooner, you could have prevented it.
I could have saved her.
He wouldn't have though, because he would have just kept running.
If she was still alive, I could have done CPR and it would have been hot. But she wasn't. She was dead.
No.
Now I'm imagining
Oliver,
Oliver running to the Baywatch theme.
That's called French kissing. It's not the same thing. It doesn't work that way.
Oh,
Oh God.
Oh.
Oh God.
I thought they were related.
I love the idea that Gulliver legitimately.
I thought it was
doesn't
the
know the
same.
difference.
I was a lifeguard one summer.
I was a lifeguard. I know CPR. It's easy. You just blow real hard.
Yeah. Well, that was our first game of Kanatadark. How was I saying this? I can't remember. Our Cthulhu Dark.
Cthulhu Dark is the game, yeah.
Yeah, a Cthulhu Dark series.
That's okay. I kept telling everyone it was Kanatadark, which is like a sword, and it was like, wait, I don't know if that. I think that's wrong.
Oh,
Whatever.
maybe that's how she died, yeah.
Oops. That's the
Um,
secret clue.
but yeah, we can go around, do our outros. Starting with you, Matthias.
Hi. You can find me at mthsblgr on Twitter. And tomorrow on Pen and Paper Pals, where I get to play Burning Wheel, which I'm super excited for. And then next Thursday and Friday on off_the_table on Twitch. For our Urban Shadows game again.
Birdie.
And,
Sorry.
by the way, I'm super hyped about this game. This was awesome tonight. Couldn't have imagined it better.
Birdie, what about you?
Yeah, I will pile onto that and say I was telling them during one of our breaks, but this is the first time I've ever played one of these games where it you know, you work with each other to build the characters, and this was amazing. I've had so much fun. This session was so great. It's a great crew, so thank you for having me. But you can find me all over the internet at the Birdie Source. I'm actually going to be streaming right after this. I'm going to go play Sea of Thieves with some of my friends. Tomorrow I'll be on the Other Doc channel playing Genesis Undone, and Monday I'll be on Encounter Roleplay playing the spy game, and then Thursday I'm back on Encounter Roleplay with Deck of Many Worlds, also with Cleric of Courage, my dear. And that's this week. That's what's going on this week. I have a pinned tweet with some more information about other things going on this summer, and I love you all and thank you for being here.
Thank you for coming. We're so glad to have you. And we all said this. We couldn't believe it was your first time ever playing a game like this. You naturally went into it, so it was great.
Thank you.
Summer.
Hey, good partners.
Thanks. What? What do I do? Hi, I'm Summer. You can find me on Twitter at just a summer job. We have a channel here on Twitch, off_the_table. We're currently only streaming on Thursdays and Fridays. We're streaming 2 Urban Shadow games happening in the same city at the same time. So that's really fun. 2 different crews. They have very different motives. It's wild.
One's better than the other. You know, one's noticeably better than the other.
Better in what way?
Every way.
Like better people or like better
I said what I said. I said what I said.
Honestly, it's like a Chloe versus Jonah situation. So. I mean, we all know.
Well, it's not anymore. One of them is a clear winner of being alive. So that's it for me. Oh, I guess in a couple of weeks I'll be back on Dylan's channel, Anarasis, here on Twitch. We might be there tomorrow. We're talking about potentially doing Monster Prom or doing trying to get a crew together for the game that I wrote, The Floor Is, which is a game that I made for Kiana's Couch Dungeon Jam, which is a wild ride where you shit talk people and tell them that they're bad at jumping from pieces of furniture to other pieces of furniture. And Monday I'll be back on Dylan's channel playing my other game, Knowing You, which is a 2-player game where you explore a relationship that has ended back to the very beginning, and it's very bittersweet. But me and Dylan will be playing that on Monday. That's me.
Mal.
Hi, I'm Mal. You can find me on Twitter at malhadale. Currently, I am, let's see. Oh, God, I have lots of games to talk about all of a sudden. Tomorrow, I'll be playing with Imperator Pengu, Tommy, and Kiana, and that Salty Ginger, Lauren, and Allie, and we'll be doing some Things from the Flood, the 90s expansion to Tales from the Loop. And I'm super excited to start that. Tuesdays every week till the season ends. You can find me on Scraticus Academy playing more Cthulhu Twilight Sands game. And next Saturday, you can find me helping out with the Salty Sweet charity stream. And I'll get to be in a game, too. Yeah!
I'm doing that, too.
Me too.
I forgot. Oops.
Yeah, I'm Katie. You can find me everywhere. Katie Face. Mondays and Tuesdays on my channel, there's Monster of the Week and Masks. Wednesdays, this upcoming Wednesday, we will be having Taylor Whimsy Machine is running his Deep Dark Deathlike game. Deep Dark Deathlike, I believe it's called. It'll be a late stream, but I'll be there. Summer will be playing in that too. Thursday, I'm on Off the Table playing Urban Shadows. And then tomorrow, I'll be on Pen and Paper Pals playing Burning Wheel. But yeah, thank you all so much for playing this. Thank you, Matthias, for running this. It's gonna be a good season. I really can't wait. I am very excited for what's gonna happen. But yeah, that's where we'll leave you tonight. Hope everyone has a great rest of their weekend and a great night. We will see you later. Bye.